She's a real pain in the... Welcome to the Pain in My Cast podcast with yours truly, Cassandra Jean. She's a real pain in the... Welcome to the Pain in My Cast podcast with yours truly, Cassandra Jean. I am so excited to have you guys here, Brooklyn Browning and Tanner Friesen. Not only are you guys like one of the most gorgeous couples, I think, in Austin, but you guys are connectors. I don't think the city's ever had anyone like the two of you, just genuinely bringing people together. You guys have your fingers in like a variety of different things, from events to sporting activities to fashion. So I'm so excited to have you both here. I want to jump into like a little bit about both of you. So I don't know, Tanner, do you want to kick it off and give a little bit of background about yourself?
Sure. Thanks for having us too.
Yeah.
By the way. This is awesome. The setup is cool.
That's so cool.
Appreciate you having us. Yeah, my quick background, born and raised in North Dakota, one of the few who got away. I've been here for like 4.5 years, and I've met one person from North Dakota here. So not too many of us get out. All my friends are back there having babies, raising a family, and all that kind of stuff. I went to college in South Dakota, moved 9 times in 3 years, and fortunately ended up here. So I've been here for like 4.5 years. I call Austin home now. Don't really want to leave. Love it here. Built a really cool community in a bunch of different ways. So yeah, been around and happy to be here. That's for sure.
Yeah. What is North Dakota like?
Whew. It's I always say I'm really glad that I grew up there. Like, it's a really cool place to call home and say like that's where my roots are from. I grew up on a ranch. My dad's a cowboy. The only time I've seen my dad cry is when his horse died. You know, he's true North Dakota blood like that. Everybody knows everybody. There's no diversity. It's cold. It's quiet. Which, you know, growing up, it's super safe. So growing up, it's awesome. You don't know any different. I've definitely had a number of different experiences, you know, as I've moved so much and really actually been able to see the world for what it is, which has been amazing. And I've kind of been able to experience on my own versus, you know, through someone else's eyes. But yeah, glad I can call it home. It's small, it's cold, just like everybody says. When you leave like North and South Dakota, just the same thing. It's just the Dakotas. It's whatever those states are up there, because nobody's, other than Mount Rushmore, I don't think anybody's ever been to either. So,
I've been a sliver of it, yeah.
Really?
And it's just
Yeah, have you gone
there's not a
gone
whole lot
with him?
there. He won't take me.
Oh, okay.
But I don't think that it's like a me thing. It's a North Dakota thing.
yeah, I don't really have a desire to go
Yeah.
back. Like,
Yeah.
I don't really stay in touch with anybody anymore. My parents do live there, but my brother worked for Delta, so my parents can fly for free. So it's, do I pay to fly to North Dakota,
Or they come to us for free.
do they come here for free?
Right.
Especially like I'm always working. So, I mean, for me, it's always on. It's a lot harder for me to get away for 3-4 days versus, you know, they've had the same job for years where it's super easy and exciting. It's like a vacation for them every time they come. So
Yeah.
the Fairmont right down the street, that's their spot. That's like my mom's. She might as well rent a place there. She's there.
Don't
like,
really like have a permanent residency there.
yeah, she just called me. She's like, I need you to put this date on the calendar. And I was like, all right, when? She's like, July 29th, we're coming for our 40th anniversary, and we want to spend it in Austin. And I was like, 1, congratulations. 2, that's really cool. I was like, 3, like, fortunately, like, I wasn't at the wedding, so why do you want to celebrate with me? Like, I wasn't even there yet. Like, shouldn't like you and Dad like take that time? And they're like, no, we want to be with our families. So that date's on the calendar, end of July. They already booked the Fairmont. They're getting dinner with
Happiest
Jacob
place
at
on
the
earth.
Garrison. and-
Screw Disneyland.
That's so funny.
and all that. So
Yeah.
I think I've only been back. So I graduated college 12 years ago, and I think I've only been back twice.
Wow.
Once was because I was moving from Toronto to Idaho, so I was just driving through. The other time was for like an alumni baseball game, and so I snuck up when I was in Denver. It was like a long drive, but I wanted to go check it out for a weekend, so I snuck up there. That's the only 2 times I've been home since I finished college.
Yeah, you're really not selling like North Dakota to me. Like, I don't really know if I want to go visit.
I mean, there's I'm not
I know.
there really isn't. There's like, as far as like, so North Dakota is the least toured state. They have it's called like the 50 Club because it's the 50th state most people visit. So it's always like the last stop. South Dakota is awesome. So I went to college in Rapid City, which is where Mount Rushmore is. Black Hills. It's like one of the most beautiful landscapes ever. But it's just kind of like this little hidden gem, southwest corner of South Dakota that's, you know, drop dead gorgeous, but just nobody knows about it because it's so far out of the way. Your only option is to fly into some, you know, small airport in the middle of nowhere. So it's unique. Yeah, I don't need to tell anybody. It's a nice little kept secret.
Yeah. How long have you been in Austin?
4.5 years.
4.5
Yeah,
years.
yeah. I moved here from Denver. I was in Denver for 4 years. Then I moved down here. Been here for 4.5.
Yeah.
So this is the longest place I've been.
Wow. That's amazing. What
Yeah.
about you, Brooklyn?
I have been here for 3.5 years now. I moved here May 2019.
Okay.
Yeah, I came straight from Idaho. I'm from Boise, Idaho. It is a great spot to live. It's a beautiful spot to visit. I love Idaho. Lots of mountains, gorgeous. Definitely would go back, but would not live there ever again. Just not a whole lot. I feel like for young entrepreneurial people, I guess, I don't see a future there at all. Kind of why I got out. Yeah, I was born in Missoula, Montana, and then I moved Boise, Idaho, and then I went to school there, went to Idaho State University in Pocatello, transferred to Boise State, and then I moved here about 3 years later, and I call Austin home now. I mean, I love this place, and I met literally my entire family here, honestly. We have the coolest people here. Everybody is so... I don't know. Everybody just really uplifts you here in Austin. I feel like everybody's young, entrepreneurial. We're all here, honestly, to find a better version of ourselves. And I feel like that's kind of what what I did and kind of what we have landed ourselves into. But yeah, I love Austin.
Yeah. And then how long have you guys been together?
3 years.
3 years, almost 4.
Yeah.
Wow.
3.5.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then we were talking about this the other day, but how did you guys meet?
We met at a workout class.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so our buddies CJ and Izzy were doing a workout class at South Congress Hotel. And so there was a room in the back, and they had a couple of partners, and they wanted to do a workout, just show the space and stuff like that. And so we hotboxed like 60 people in there. Like the floor was completely drenched. Like you couldn't walk on that floor, not like step in sweat.
Or like a slip and slide.
And
it was great.
we didn't meet there. We were in the same class. You showed up late, I think.
No, I showed
late.
up on time, just like the last person.
Yeah, she got the last spot. She didn't actually meet me at the workout class. I had to take a picture of her and some of my friends.
Wait, what?
I was the guy behind
Yeah.
the camera. I was the one that she asked to hold the phone so she could take a picture with.
Yeah,
Oh.
With some
I
of
don't
my
remember
friends.
this. I don't remember this, but apparently he was the one that took the photo.
But a bunch of us, like a dozen of us, went out to brunch afterwards, and then we ended up sitting right across from each other. So that's how we actually met and like started talking.
Was the rest like history after that?
Pretty
Pretty
fast,
much?
like super
yeah,
fast.
very
yeah.
fast. Yeah,
Yeah,
definitely.
you were supposed to go to work that afternoon.
Yeah, it's kind of a crazy story. So I actually, I was working this. I had just moved here. It was probably, we met in like
End of July.
end of July. I moved here in May. I didn't really have any friends. I was working this job just to kind of get me by until I got into what I wanted to get into. I was like bartending and serving. And so I knew it wasn't my job, that I wanted to be in, that I was going to stay in. And so it didn't really have much value to me. And so I was supposed to go into work that afternoon. I met Tanner and all these awesome, cool people. And I was like, okay, they're all going out to get lunch, and they're going to Barton Springs, and they're going to go out, do all these fun things. This is my first time meeting people in Austin. Am I going to just quit my job just on the spot, which I do not recommend doing. It's not a good look. Don't do that. But it was life-changing. And so I just called my boss and I was like, hey, I'm not coming into work today. Basically, I quit and I didn't go into work. And then I was able to go to Barton Springs, and that's really where we hit it off, was at Barton Springs. But got to go there, met him and all these amazing, fun people. And so that's what changed my life here, honestly. If I never would have just said, F it, quit my job, go hang out with these people, I literally would have never, we probably wouldn't be together at all right now. And I wouldn't be friends with any of the people I'm friends with now.
Isn't that crazy? I feel like an instant.
It
it can
was-
change your whole life. Yeah.
That one decision, I was like, and it's not me. Like, I've always kind of been like a goody good with that kind of stuff. Like, like straight A's, like be like top of my class, I do really well in my job, like successful, yes, and like shy to call in sick and stuff, if I'm like dying. But I was just like, you know what? The universe is telling me that I have to do this, and I don't know anybody here, so
Yeah.
I'm lonely. So I just
Yeah, because
I
it's
did
not
it.
like we even like begged you or like you got to come with us.
No,
We were just
yeah.
like, this is what we're. I don't even know if like we invited you.
Yeah,
We just told you what we were
did.
doing, you know.
They were
and
like,
it's just-
we're gonna go here next. Like, do you want to come and stuff? And I was like, I have work. I literally went home, and I was like, I'm not getting ready for work. I'm gonna go back and meet them. So I like put my swimsuit on, like, you know, made sure to wear an extra cute one, and and then when I met them,
yeah,
but
we didn't even know you're coming. Like all our
I just
phones
showed
were, like-
up.
I don't even know if any of us had your number, and also we were just sitting down at the bottom, and Brooklyn came out of nowhere, and we're like, "Hey, you're supposed to be working."
yeah.
That's amazing, though.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes intuition, like,
It was
Yeah.
100%.
yeah.
Yeah.
And then you guys both, I think, have been married before.
Yep.
Yes.
Do you want to jump in? Do you want to jump into your relationship prior?
Yeah. I
And
got
we'll jump into Brooklyn's.
Yeah, I got
'Cause
married right out of college. So super young, super naive. Had started dating someone my last year of college. I knew with my new job I was going to move around a lot and didn't really take it that serious. Didn't really even think of anything. And then I had a conversation with my parents like right before I graduated. And they're like, well, what are you guys going to do? I was like, I'm sure she'll just come with me. And they like put this weird pressure on me. Like, you're not moving with your girlfriend. You know, I grew up in like a very religious, like conservative, you know, family. And so they kind of put that pressure on me. They're like, no, you can't move with your girlfriend. And I didn't like, I look up to my parents like big time. Like my parents are like my idols. You know, I do anything I can to be like my dad. It's like someone I look up to more than anybody, more than I ever will. And so like the last thing I ever wanted to do is like disappoint them. Right. And so I like super candid. I was just like, talked to the girl and like, she was awesome. And I was like, so this is kind of how I feel. Like, should we get married or should we just like split up? And of course, like we were young.
I know.
We were
Wait,
young.
how
we were in
old
love.
is this?
I was 21.
Okay.
Yeah. So 22. Yeah. So like we were young. We were in love. We're like, let's try it. Like, let's do it. Like we were excited. We didn't know anything better.
Yeah.
And so did it. She had never been away from home. So she was like born and raised in Denver, had never moved before. My first assignment, I was there for 2 weeks. And then it was, hey, you have your passport, right? I was like, yeah. Like, all right, you're going to Toronto. When? In 2 weeks. So it's like the first time she had uprooted and left her family. We at this new spot 2 weeks later. It's like, oh, by the way, we're going to a different country. Like, you're not going to have a phone. Like, it's because back then, like, Verizon didn't have international plans or anything like that. This was, 12 years ago. And so it was hard from the get-go. So we were married for 6 years. We were married for a while, just kind of gutting it out, trying to make it work. It's amazing to see that like if you made a list of like all these things that like you really need that have to be perfect, like we lined up on almost all of them, and it still wasn't good enough just because you lose your individuality, you forget like who you are, you become dependent on someone, and like, firsthand I saw how dangerous that was.
Yeah.
But yeah, so after moving 7 times in the first 2 years, I was like, all right, this is fair. Like, I get it. Like, this is too much. This is not cool. Got a new job, moved back to Denver with her and was supposed to stay there. And then got an opportunity to come down here for work. And I was like, the hardest thing was like, oh no, I have to have this conversation. Cause like the opportunity was amazing for me. Like, it's what I wanted to do. But what came with it was exactly what I didn't want to do. And so the plan was for her to like kind of bounce back and forth. I moved down here and I was supposed to move down here for like 2 weeks, go back and get her. And that 2 weeks, like we never talked.
Oh no.
It was always like, hey, sorry, I'm busy or I'm doing this. And like, I was still kind of naive because I just figured like it was going to work. And then when I went back, I was like, oh wait, like this isn't like, you're not coming, are you? Had like a super serious conversation. And it was just made a very mature decision. It's better for her to stay up there. It's better for me to come here. But I started from scratch. I only knew 2 people in Austin. So
Wow.
it's kind of funny. Like the reason you were like talking to me is like about all these communities and stuff we built. Well, for 6 years, I moved around and had one friend, moved around all these places and completely lost who I was. Cause anybody who knew me in college, I knew every single person on campus. In high school, I knew every single person, not in my high school, but like in every high school around us. That was who I am. And so I kind of, never once pointed a finger at anybody else, like, going through a divorce or anything. I just looked myself in the mirror and said, doesn't matter who did what, like, how can I get better? Like, how am I different? What can I change? Like, who am I? I think the conversation that like changed everything for me is one of the 2 people I knew when I moved down here. She had been married to one of my college basketball teammates. And so she had been through it. She was, a year or two ahead of me. She knew exactly what I was going through. We have like super similar personality, super similar work ethic. And she she sat me down one time and she was like, "What do you want to do tomorrow?" And the second like I paused, she's like, "I thought so. I knew it." I was like, "What do you mean?" She's like, "You don't know what you want to do tomorrow. Like you don't know what makes you happy." She's like, "You've completely lost yourself." And it like I was like, "Oh, wow, I didn't even like thought of that." So she's like, "Sit down, come up with a bunch of stuff that'll make you happy and just go do it and start living your life that way." So the next day I packed up, jumped in my car, drove like 2 hours, went on a hike out in the middle of nowhere all by myself, flew my drone around, and I was like, "Oh, that was super fun." And guess what? I did it all by myself.
Yeah.
And so that just changed my mentality from that day to a fault. I've always been, what do I want to do today? What do I want to do today? And let that drive me always. So yeah, it was definitely an eye opener for me. It was definitely hard starting from scratch, I guess you could call it. But really, it was just me learning the hard way, who I am and remembering who I am. And then now I just know like that's non-negotiable. That'll never change again. And so that's who I am now, and it makes it real easy to live my life.
Yeah. At what age, like, because you got married at 21.
Yeah, I was 22. So I moved here when I was 28.
Okay, so when you were 28. And then after you got out of that relationship, did you, like, take a lot of time, do you feel like, to, like, focus on yourself? Like, were you single for a little while?
I didn't go on a date for a year. She's the first person I took to dinner. Yeah, for me, and it wasn't even the fact that, like, I wasn't open to it at all. Like, one, I was finding myself, but I think for the most part, I found myself pretty quick. I had a couple people that came through my life that were, invaluable to that I don't think I would have changed if it wasn't for them. And the crazy thing is, like, none of them are even in my life anymore. It's just like the right people at the right time, helping me learn those things. But I knew how good it had to be to actually work. So, I met a bunch of girls that I was like, "You're awesome. You're a great person. This little thing, it's not going to work. So, like, let's not waste either of our times. Like, respectfully, like, it's not going to work, and that's okay, because guess what? We can be friends, and that's going to last forever versus, someone you try to force it, and then all of a sudden it doesn't work. There's these expectations, and then you never talk again, because there's so many cool people in Austin. Like, I couldn't imagine, like, if I would have burned some of those bridges and not had some of the friends I had. So, like, the cool thing with her is, like, I wasn't looking. Like, if anyone was sitting across for a whole brunch across from her, like, they would just be drooling, like, begging her to come over and, like, come to Barton Springs, like, come hang out, like, let's go on a date, all this kind of stuff. So we naturally were just able to talk. Like, she was like asking about my tattoos, asking just different questions where it was super simple. Like, there's no pressure. That makes it really easy. So yeah, I didn't go on like a proper date. Like, I was on like Bumble or whatever the dating apps were, and it's just like you get to talk to people. You talk to them for a few minutes, and you'd be like, nope. like not in a bad way. It's just like, right. Oh, that one we're gonna fight for no reason, right? Like, what's the point? Or I'm gonna stress you out.
While we're ahead.
Yeah, I'm gonna do what I'm doing anyway, and I know that's gonna stress you out. So what's the point? So yeah, it was I don't know. It was pretty natural for me.
Yeah, because I feel like you guys both, like, were married and then went through divorces, right, at like a very young age, right? Because you're 33.
Yeah, I'm 33.
You're 33. You're 26, right? And then I feel like a lot of young people, when they get out of relationships, they like immediately like hop right back into them. So
that was kind of me.
I think everyone handles it differently, but I have like a lot of respect for the fact that you like did take the year to like kind of like be like, okay, I got to reassess, and then when it was meant to happen, Brooklyn, it did, and it worked out perfectly for you guys.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, there's definitely not a right way to handle it. I mean, it's 100% individual based. A lot of people probably don't learn. It's real easy to cover it or hide the fact, or just flat out, like, as easy as it is to always point the finger at somebody else, like, what's that going to get you? So the fact that, like, I took that mentality, it really helped me. She was very similar. So, like, when we started talking, like, she was going through the same thing. And with how young she was, I was so impressed, like, because without, having to say anything, like, I knew exactly where she was at. I knew what she was going through, but I could also see how she was handling it. And I was, like, super surprised. I was like, how are you this young and, like, have gone through all this, have seen all this, and have able to, like, make these decisions? I was like, at that age, I would have never made that decision. I would have been so clueless. And so that made it a lot easier for us, like, talking afterwards too.
Yeah. Yeah. So then jumping back into Brooklyn, because you were married, and I don't know, did you come to Austin by yourself or did you come here
No.
with him?
So yeah, I moved here in May, like I said, 2019, with my ex-husband.
So you did move with him.
I moved with
Okay.
him, yeah. And so we were together for 6 years, but only married for 1. We were high school sweethearts, and so we met my senior year of high school, and we're madly in love, young state or whatever you think it is. We had a really good relationship, honestly, all the way through for the most part. Minus the little like young fighting things and your early teen or late teens. But we went to college together. We were good. We lived together all throughout college, moved back to Boise, lived together then. So we lived together pretty much for 5 years. And then, there was never anything where it was like a big fight or constant fighting that drove us apart necessarily. I think it was just genuinely we were on such different paths and holding each other back from those paths. I feel like I was definitely the one that saw that more so him, but I honestly think that he has benefited from it more than I have. And in the moment, I don't think that he really saw that, but I was holding him back a lot from his potential and what he really wanted. I have a very strong personality, and I do have a tendency to, like my way or the highway. And I kind of needed somebody, he would give me the world, essentially. He would just be like, yes, your way or the highway, like Brooklyn is on top of everything. Yep. Okay. Whatever you say, constantly. I can't get away with that with this guy. And it's like, and that's honestly what I needed. Like I needed a strong personality as well in the relationship with me to reel me in or for me to look up to, and that's just kind of what drove us apart, was that he was lacking there and I was not accepting him really for who he was. It was more like I wanted to constantly change this person and mold this person into what I wanted them to be, because I didn't want to waste so many years of my life, and just like give up. So I just kept trying to change him and change him and change him. Eventually, I think it was about, honestly, pretty much the whole year of us being married, I was checked out. And it wasn't checked out in the sense of I knew I was checked out, but it was so much more of like I loved him in a different way than you're supposed to love a spouse. I loved him for the person he was and thought he was great, almost more of like a brotherly love,
Right.
And like, or like a best friend. Like, don't say brother, that's kind of creepy. A best friend type of love. And so I just stuck for so long because I was just like, well, I love him, like, of course, like that's how it's supposed to be. So, and then I moved to Austin, and it was, in my head, I was kind of thinking, well, maybe things will change, once we move, and maybe we just won't have all these other people around us or like looking at us like a fresh start. That's just what we need for me to like get back into like this love with him, and it just made it worse. Of course, you can't just move somewhere and then expect it to be better. And so I saw everything that my life was lacking. Honestly, when I moved here, I was just like, okay, yeah, like I can't get to this point if I'm still going to be married to him, unfortunately. And it has nothing wrong, nothing to do with him being wrong or him, nothing, he was great. He was a great person. It was just our lifestyles weren't going to end up matching up together. So I broke things off shortly after, met Tanner. Honestly, it was just very unexpected how fast I met him, because I was just in this state still of just kind of like, okay, this is, my entire life just changed. And like he was saying, my best friend is now not my best friend anymore. My best friend is gone out of my life. What am I going to do? So it was like, he was like my angel that came in, but I was at the same time like terrified, because I was calling my mom every day, like, am I able to do this? Like, and I was like, Mom, like, he wants to take me out to dinner on my birthday. Like, I don't know if I should do this. And she's like, Brooklyn, don't do it. And then I like explained everything about him. She's like, oh my God, do it. Don't let him get away. Shout out, Mom. But yeah, so that's kind of my story. And I still talk to my ex here and there. mainly just checking in, like, hey, like, hope is all is well, like, happy birthday, or, you know, just random things like that. But we both wish each other nothing but the best, and I'm just very fortunate to have somebody that I was married to like him, because it could have been ugly and it wasn't. And I feel like I still will have a friend no matter what, or have somebody to go to no matter what. But I feel like that's the type of relationship it should have been in the first place, you know, and now I have that. So it's good.
Right. Yeah. I mean, because you guys were so young too when you were married. I always wonder, like, because I always look at myself, right? I'm like, so, because I'm single. So I'm like, if I get married, like, I would be terrified to, like, give up, like, the financial aspect, right? Like, if I'm not making my own money. So, like, in y'all's relationships, like, were you guys, like, 50-50? Were you the provider? Like, what did that look like in both of your relationships? Just curious.
We were both pretty similar. I was a provider for sure. Yeah.
By the way, shout out to Cass being single over here.
I know.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I was 100% the provider. We were literally moving around for my job, so
Yeah.
it was I didn't really have an option. I was working anyway, so yeah, that was all a lot of the pressure. I mean, that made it hard. So I would be super curious, like, what it's like, you know, after actually establishing yourself and then, like, giving up that freedom. Because, like, when I got married, we were both young, broke, had nothing else, like, nothing to our names, right? Like, paid for my own wedding, like, out of my pocket. They cleared out my savings account, ring, wedding, done, right? broke as can be, starting from scratch. So, you know, being in the point I am now after, like, establishing myself, like, finances are tricky too. So, like, trying to go out and, like, merge that with somebody, it would be super interesting.
Yeah. Yeah, that's crazy. I mean, you guys, like, were both kind of like I feel like the provider, and then you guys came together too, which is cool because like obviously you both had like that hustle and kind of motivation and fire that you guys like both brought together too. So
it's so weird, like, when she pulls out her credit card whenever, like, if we go out to dinner or something like that, I'm like, what are you doing? It really is weird.
Yeah,
you know?
that's
but
funny.
yeah, that's an interesting point too.
Yeah, well, too, because you're talking about your parents, like their 40th wedding anniversary. So we know that your parents were like really conservative. They're from North Dakota. Are your parents the same way?
No, not really. My parents are separated, but remarried both when I was very, very young. So I got very lucky. I grew up with two sets of parents, and I don't care what anybody says. That's two Christmases. That's double set of dinners and presents and all the things. But I got very lucky as well. My step parents are both the most incredible people. I mean, he's met them, and they're the sweetest people. But I would not say super religious. My mom's side, way more so. Yes. Mother grew up religious and everything. My mom's whole side is religious. Dad's side, not so much. I guess my grandpa was a pastor, though. My dad's dad. So I guess, yeah. But I did not grow up super religious, no. We were in church, but my mom more so was kind of like, okay, well, you pick your own path. It was never forced upon me, I want to say, but we were definitely exposed to it. We did pray at night, all of that stuff. But again, it was never forced, you know, and that was never her mindset on her decisions for me to make. It was never, okay, Brooklyn, well, you need to stay true to this. You know, it was like, what do you want to do and what do you feel like is correct for your life? It was never why I should do it, you know?
Right.
That's, yeah. So pretty different.
Were your parents the same way? Like when you were like going through the divorce, like were they, you know, like, hey, we just want you to be happy, or was that like a tougher?
That was the hardest thing I've ever done.
Yeah.
It was harder for me to tell my parents than actually, like, go through it.
Yeah.
You know, and, like, separate with my ex. It was harder to tell my parents because, like, grew up in a very religious family, super strong. Like, you know, there's divorce isn't anywhere in that whole, like, on either side of my you know, parents' families. They all grew up Christian, and it was, you know, just wasn't an option over me not being happy. Who cares, right? Like, you just don't do that. You figure it out. So that was definitely, like, the hardest part. I'd say, like, how far, like, me and my parents have, like, gone and how much they've opened up over the last, you know, few years has been, like, completely game changing for all of us, where, you know, they truly see you know, what made me happy or what didn't make me happy. So yeah, that was 100% the hardest part, was having that conversation with my parents.
Yeah, I would imagine. I mean, I grew up in like a super religious family too. Like my mom's Catholic, so like you don't get divorced, you know?
Mm-hmm.
But it's so hard because I think, you know, we know, like our generation knows, like you have to do what's right for you and like what's going to make you happy. And it's like, what's the point of staying in a marriage, you know, just because of your religious beliefs or, you know? And I'm sure they see you like, I'm sure they get it more and more every day, like seeing you so happy with this one that it probably starts clicking and making.
We get along real well.
Yeah, I'm sure they love you. So, you know, I don't know. I feel like it'd be so tough to go through that. And you guys went through it such young ages. Like I can't even get one husband, okay? And I'm 20.
So how about that? So you being single, you're out here in Austin dating.
Yeah.
Like, how often do you run into a guy who's been married before, or a guy who has
That's a
kids?
good question.
Versus, or is it just a bunch of?
No, people. So first of all, okay, this is what I'm gonna say. When you're walking around downtown, how often do you guys see kids?
Okay, we always talk about that. Kids do not exist in Austin at all.
Thank goodness.
I do not. I do not know where they all are. Like they like walk into the borders of downtown and they just like drop into like an abyss because they do not exist.
Every
It's like
time,
dogs.
every time,
No, they turn into dogs.
every time I see a kid, like I always go to book, I'm like, what's that?
what's that?
What's that thing? Like,
Yeah, kids don't exist. So, like, any of the guys I'm ever dating or talking to, they've never been married. I don't think they ever want to get married. I think they want to run around, like,
so it's the
downtown.
opposite. So it's a bunch of guys that you don't trust, like if they take it serious.
Yeah.
Are these like dating app guys for the most part?
Yeah, I feel like...
I don't know if it would be different, but I feel like having kids is like more of like a non-dating app thing. You know, like on a
Right.
dating app, I feel like less people have kids. Just I don't know. I feel like that's more of like a younger
Right.
or like
It is, yeah.
you know what I mean?
But
I
even
don't
running
know.
around Austin, too, like I never even thought about this. Just like all my like guy friends, not one of them is like, oh, I just want to settle down and have a family. Like none of them, you
It's
know.
true.
Like,
And all of our friends
a
are like
different
over 30 too.
Really?
So, yeah.
Yeah, so it's definitely a different culture here, huh? So you see it, I guess,
Yeah.
out there when you're dating.
Mhm. It's wild.
So is it hard to trust a guy then on a date if you're?
It's not hard to trust a guy because, like, I feel like at this point I have very high standards.
Good.
Like, I
yeah.
know what I put up with and I don't put up with. And then, like, I'll start talking to a couple different guys and I just kind of run them around in circles, seeing.
Watch out, boys.
I know. I should not have said that. Not run them around in circles because I'm, like, obviously interested in them.
Yeah.
I'm just like, who's going to actually, like, show
Put
up?
them to the test.
Yeah, and treat me the right way, you know?
Yep.
So that's kind of what I do.
I think the best thing to do is put them around your friends,
Yeah.
and like before it
I
even
agree.
like gets to the point where you're like dating. Like if there's a guy you're kind of interested, like super casually invite him out, like out with your friends, and just see how he like meshes with everybody.
Yeah. I'll just make you guys vet. I'm going to vet them.
We're very good at
I'll just
that.
bring them
I
around.
don't know if our friends would agree,
Yeah. I feel like you guys can detect it.
but I'm very harsh with my
I was gonna
with
say
who my
like so
who my friends bring around. I'm like, who are you?
I mean, we just know it doesn't work, right?
Right.
So it's like one of like my friends will talk to me and like day 2, they're like, oh, but this. I was like, so stop. Like, what are you doing? Like, it's if you're already complaining about it after like day 2, week 1, even a month or so in, like if there's already those doubts, like it's not gonna work. And by the way, like that's okay.
And it already goes back to like what he was saying earlier. It's like stop while you're ahead, because this person might be really freaking cool and could be a friend, but if you go and sleep with them on the second day, like, okay, well now you just slept with your friend,
Yeah.
and it's like, okay, well now you can't really pew 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 pew.
My word of my word of advice. I learned this. I got this from my buddy Josh.
Oh my god, so
It's like
We
awesome.
joke, like, because this town is so small, right? Like, you see the same people over and over again. And
Are you saying that everyone sleeps with everyone?
Josh goes up right to one of my buddies face to face. He goes, only take home the tourists. And it's like, that's the best advice, like, to give any
it's
of our friends.
true.
Because it's
Really
like,
good.
like, if something goes bad, like, we're going to have to see the same person through 5 of our different
Austin
circles.
is
It's all our
small.
friends. I was like, so if there's any tension, like, guess what? Like, we're going to be friends with them on both sides. So just don't mess it up.
Yeah.
Like,
Tanner,
stay out of the circle.
You don't have to tell me. I've lived here my whole life. So
Yeah. You're like, my pool's been shrinking.
yeah. I barely leave my house anymore. I'm like, I don't want to run into anyone. Thank you.
Oh my gosh.
It's true though. Like once you go out, like you could go out by yourself, and by the end of the night, you could round up 40 people. Like if you started, it's getting a little busier now, but before, like when it's super easy to bar hop, we'd go to West and people would be like, where'd you go last night? And you'd rattle off like 11 bars because you just go one drink and jump, one drink and jump. And it's like you'd grab 4 people at each bar, then go to the next one, grab another 6. Like that used to be what it was like here.
Yeah.
Now it's so crowded, and now I'm getting older and there's a bunch of people that don't look like they should be in the bar. So it's
Fake IDs.
It's a little, not just 21-year-old kids. It's like they're 12 years younger than me, you know? Like when I was
That's true.
graduating.
It's like, wait, are you out of place or am I out of place?
I know. I feel kind of old when I like go into the bars now, and I'm like, am I getting old or is
That's
it
like, how old's too old? Like,
no.
That's definitely been the nice thing about doing our own events too, because like you
Yeah.
kind of like curate what you want out of a night versus.
Yeah. Well, like your guy friends who are like in their 30s, if they're not wanting to like, you know, think about like be in a relationship and like want kids, like what are they doing? Because like I'll get on dating apps and the guys are like, you know, like I'm not looking, like I'll go on a date with them. They'll do some crazy stuff. Like I've had guys like literally buy me like a bottle of perfume, pick me up, take me to a steakhouse.
wait, what?
Yes. And then they're like, I'm not,
Tanner.
they tell me, they tell me they're like, I'm not emotionally available. I'm not interested in dating. And I'm like, why the fuck are you on a dating app? And why are you doing the
Spoiling
most?
me, yeah.
Like,
Is that how dating is now?
No, that's a,
Like,
I have some stories, but
That just seems like they're almost just trying to fill like a hole or a need in their life, right? Like
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
plug it in. You see a lot of people too, like I've seen that focus so much on other people's problems. You're just like, it's just because you don't want to address your own, right? Like it's a lot easier to
Right.
hide behind someone else's. So it could easily be something like that too, where it's just a little insecurity and it's like, all right, I can hide it. I can go out, have some fun, get someone a gift, like let that distract from like a real conversation.
they also like
And
don't have
accountability.
anybody to like spoil themselves, you know?
Yeah.
So it's like, why not just do it on your dates?
yeah.
You know? Maybe.
Yeah. I don't know. Do you have like a lot of single girlfriends in Austin?
I mean, I feel like they're all pretty. Oh, yeah. I feel like they're all pretty single. All
Yeah.
my girlfriends.
How's that working
Yeah, they're all single.
for them?
Not great, honestly. I mean, we were kind of talking the other day. Like, all my friends have told me that the dating scene is trash here,
Yeah.
and I don't know. Like we were saying, like maybe you're not looking in the right places and whatnot. But I feel like I got freaking lucky.
I feel like, you know,
I'm like my first try, and I snatched it up.
I think you guys might be doing something good though for like the dating scene in Austin, even though that's not like your focus. But you guys found each other, you came together, and then you guys kind of started a passion project together, right?
For sure.
That's kind of where Secret Disco Society came from.
Exactly
But
how it
yeah,
started, yeah.
that's what I want to jump into because now you guys have all these cool people at your events and like, you know, maybe I can meet a guy there, or one of your friends can meet a guy there.
girl.
If not, at least I'm making like a bunch of cool friends, you know?
Yeah, I think one of the coolest things is like go into a concert and all of a sudden seeing some people from our events be like, wait a second, I know they didn't know each other before one of our events. Like it happens a lot. There's people that are dating because of it. There's people that are friends. There's new groups that have all formed, and we've always
Yeah.
kind of pushed the social aspect. So like Secret Disco, we started it just because during COVID, people needed people. Like that's something we noticed. Like we have a lot of friends that are introverted, and they were struggling. Like I could tell, like they just, you know, I don't really understand like anxiety, depression, just because I'm always up. Like I always feel great, but I totally get that people are going through it, and I could just like see it just wearing on people. And I'm like, I'll 100% take the leap, take the opportunity, and like use what I have, my platform, and bring people together. And so that was kind of one of the things with Secret Disco, where we've always like not just tried to throw these crazy events, but truly like tried to connect people through it and bring people together. Because I think that's what's missing a lot. You know, if you bring in a big artist, right, and on that flyer is just that big artist and a couple sponsors, right? Like everybody's just going for them, and as soon as that person's done, they leave, right? Versus we try to create our events based on activities and people in a room where you can actually get that human connection and talk. I think that's what's missing in almost any community is just that conversation piece. So we try to find ways to like creatively push it, and I think that's what's like super powerful.
Yeah. And you guys co-founded it together, and was it like during the pandemic when it
Yeah.
first started?
My favorite.
Yep.
story.
Oops.
It was my favorite story.
We were is middle of the pandemic, New Year's. We were trying to get together with like 20, 30 of our friends. We had a friend that had a townhouse, was back home in New Jersey, got COVID,
For Christmas, yeah.
and couldn't fly back. So since he tested positive, he couldn't come back. And we're like, well, should we go to his house without him?
And like all of our friends
No.
were kind of relying on us because like even before this, like Tanner and I were always the ones to bring all of our friends together. It was like, hey Brooklyn, hey Tanner, like what are we gonna do for this or for that? You know, it was always like relying on what our plans were. And so we had invited probably like at least like 25 to 30 people, and we're like, well crap, like now we don't have a place to go, and we like promised all these people a place. So honestly, we like took it upon ourselves, but.
That's always how I am. Like if something falls apart, I'm like, I'm an engineer, right? So I'm a problem solver. There's a problem, cool. Like let me find a way to solve it.
If he says he's gonna like do something, like it is going to happen.
Yeah.
It will happen.
But it wasn't even really intentional. It's like, all right, let's come up with a plan B. Who has a house? Nobody has a house. Okay, where do we go? I started asking around, and my buddy Eric is like, hey, some of my friends have a dance studio up north. And I was like, oh, that sounds cool. It was like a small dance studio, 1 bathroom, mirrors on the whole side, and like these production lights as painted black. I was like, this is the coolest thing ever. Like, this is the perfect place to come hide during New Year's because like cops were cracking down and everything. I'm like, let's just come in here, lock the doors, and hide. It only had 1 bathroom. And so we made a sign that was like, if you're a guy, go pee outside.
Yeah. Yeah. And it was like a tiny bathroom too.
But yeah, so we threw that together on like less than 2 days, and like 60, 70 people showed up. BYOB, like we all threw in $10 to pay the dance studio so they could get a little bit of money, and then they could clean it afterwards and
We
stuff
like
like
went to
that.
Party City and got like prom decoration,
my
you know, like the
God.
really,
The decorations
really
were so
bad, like spiraled, what are those things called? Streamers, you know, where you like
Yeah.
spiral them together.
Our buddy Preston DJed for 4 hours for free because he hadn't done a gig in like, 2 years.
Yeah.
Broga just like screenshot his Venmo and went and took it around to every single person on the
I
party.
was
and
like,
pay him, pay him,
tip,
pay him,
tip.
pay him.
Yeah.
But it was awesome, and like it was literally instantly we were like, let's keep doing this. Like this is really cool. We could just see like people were so happy to be around people, even though we had people that were furious with us that we did it,
Yeah.
And it's just like, in our opinions, we were young, we were healthy, and like we thought that was more important, bringing our friends together, and it really was. Like it made a huge difference in a lot of people's lives. So we went for it. As soon as we got done, like we started planning the next one like immediately. Did a Valentine's Day party back at that same spot. So that was like that February. And then March, the COVID restrictions lifted. And so we thought like, all right, now the only reason people are going to us is because we're the ones taking the risk and like trying to bring people together. It's like all of a sudden science now said it's okay to go out. And we're like, all right, everybody's just going to go back to the bars. And we'd already built such a cool little community. Places started reaching out to us. And so we just went with it. And we started making friends with all these DJs. And we're like, okay, this is cool. Like, we can give them a platform.
And also, all these DJs came out of COVID, I swear to God. Because, like,
Everyone learned.
everyone was picking up a new hobby. So they just, like, picked up DJing, which thank God they did. But I feel like it was just, like, all of a sudden, like, you're a DJ now. You're a DJ now. Like, we had all these people that wanted to DJ for us, which was really cool.
So yeah, we just took it and ran with it. And we've kind of had like some core values to the whole thing. So it's like we're community based. Like we want to make an experience too. So we've had a bunch of people ask, well, why don't you do this every single week at this spot? We're like, that's just the same thing over and over again. People
We
are
don't
just
want to
gonna-
be just another event company.
Yeah,
Right.
We
like,
want it to be a special curated event.
Yeah.
Yep.
Do you,
So
do you guys have like a number of events that you like try to do throughout the year? You just kind
At
of
least once a month. But
yeah, about once a month. But like the first
kind of by
year,
opportunity.
almost 2 years, it's like we're throwing stuff on 2 weeks notice because someone come up to us and be like, I've got this venue. Like, what do you think? I'm like, oh, let's come up with this theme. Like, let's get everybody dressed up. Let's do it. You also kind of got to be careful because now that shows are back, like there's so many big shows where we're not going to compete if there's a giant show at the concourse, right? So, and also we don't really want to compete with those. Like we like those shows too. So we want to coexist. We don't want to do a night with a bunch of DJs that are local that we really like and then nobody show up, because half of it's for them. The other half is, for the crowd and who has fun if they don't get to meet anybody. So we don't plan super far out like on purpose, but yeah, I'd say we probably target like 1, maybe 2 a month. We don't like to overdo it for sure.
yeah.
Yeah, because I've gone to a couple of them and they're like amazing. Like they're so much fun. I feel like you guys always have a theme. There's always good people. Like I told you guys the other day, like I get sick of going into somewhere like Mayfair and seeing like the same people that are always just buying bottle service. Like who knows what they're doing with their life. Like I feel like the people at y'all's events are like on the pulse of Austin. Like, not only are they young and cool and nice, they also have like successful careers and like a lot of other
For
things
sure.
going on. So it's such like a nice environment to like make friends and like meet new people. And then you guys always do like different themes, which
Yep.
I don't know.
That's my favorite part.
I'm like, I think my whole closet looks like dress up, so I'm all about
love
like
that.
a theme. Like, it's so fun. So
Yeah, and I mean that's the thing. Like, we want people to get excited for it. You know, like, I mean, I have one of our friends, Heidi. She is always dressed to the nines, and she gets so excited about our parties, and she'll like send me like a screenshot, like, I just bought this for this party, and I'm like, that's exactly what this is supposed to be. You know, people getting excited and planning and being like, okay, well, I got my costume. What are you going to wear? You know, and like telling their friends. And it's like, she almost makes me want to dress up more, you know? So it's like one of those things where I'm not just like going to the bar and just like dressed in this. I'm like, okay, I want people texting me like, what are you wearing? Okay, well, I'm going to wear this. Like, what do you know? Because it's exciting.
Yeah.
Especially for women. I don't know so much for men.
Yeah, I don't know. Is that fun
I love
for you?
dressing up.
Okay.
Dressing up.
Yeah, I was like,
dressing
he
up is so
he
much
has
fun.
a bigger like dress up closet than I do. I'm not even kidding.
Really?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
He's always
Well, he's
buying
rocking,
things.
he's rocking pink hair right now too.
Facts,
you know?
yeah.
So he's definitely down to dress up.
He's a little more out there than I am, I will say.
I lost a bet. I had to. I got volunteered for a bet,
Yeah.
and she was gone for 2 weeks. So I said, I'll just
I'm like
I'll just
literally
roll with
never
it.
leaving again.
I like it. I
No,
got
it's
that-
cool.
Got that
It's
sphere
cool.
pink. Yeah, I never would have thought like 3 years ago that like I would be an owner of 2 different companies, and both of them their main color is pink.
You know what? And my like whole thing is like pink. I love pink. So we got pink lighting. You're like the king of pink over
I
here.
love it. Yeah.
It's like a lot of
works
pink.
out. Yeah, we got a lot of people to rock it and realize,
Right?
realize
Yeah.
it's cool. So
Yeah. So that's awesome though, because you guys started out with like the New Year party, and then how quickly did you realize like this is something we're building an entire business? Because you guys have like big sponsors now, like alcohol brands, like Beatbox Beverages, and like I've seen a few different alcohol
Tequilas
companies.
and all
Yeah.
sorts of stuff.
yeah, almost every alcohol company in town has reached out to us. We've had different dating apps, all sorts of different companies reach out and sponsor us, which is really cool. I think like the best part about it is I've got a real job, so I've never looked at it as a business. Almost everything we make, like we'll try to reinvest, whether it's in our equipment, in our DJs, in our staff, like overpaying people, like because we're so grateful for what they do. We haven't really flipped that switch and try to be like, all right, how do we maximize profits? What is this? What is that? We make sure that we don't lose money on any shows, and we roll with it. That's the only reason we charge is because that way we can cover our costs. If it didn't cost us anything, it'd be hard for me to charge anybody. That's like who I am. I just want to create a really cool culture. This.
But we love when we get to do free events. Like
love
we actually
that.
love that.
Yeah, it's my favorite thing to do is just open the door, right? Like make it as inclusive as possible.
There's been so many times where it's like still slammed, and Tanner will be like, all right, like stop making people pay. And I'll just be like, open the door, because like he just wants everybody to be there and enjoy it, obviously like towards the end of the night. But,
Yeah.
it's not one of those things where we're just trying to monetize, which yes is nice. But at the end of the day, it comes down to our community. And are they going to feel like they have a home with us? And that's kind of what I feel like Secret Disco strives to do,
Right.
We have no discount codes, no guest list, right?
Yeah.
We do a cheaper ticket the first day always for whoever wants to support us, no matter what. We don't even announce the show. First day, here's our pre-sale. If you want to get it, great. If not, then here's the ticket price, and all that is for us to get to a number and cover it.
And nothing's
so,
outrageous.
yeah.
We try to make it
And
affordable.
the person's like, hey, can you give me in for free? I was like, hey, like, the only reason I'm charging is it costs a bunch of money. Like, if you can help support me, great. If not, like, go grab a free drink somewhere else. Like, appreciate it. But it's like, it costs like any event costs like thousands of dollars to produce. Like, people have no clue. Like, sound is super expensive. I mean, we're in a
We gotta
podcast
pay our
studio.
DJs.
Like, this stuff is so expensive.
Yeah.
Like equipment, DJs. Like, we want to pay them great. Like, we want to pay them better than anywhere else in town if we can. Right? Like, that's because we appreciate them so much. Photo, video, that's expensive. So that's the only reason we charge. But it's anytime we can get involved, getting as many people there as possible, it's so much fun for me.
Yeah.
I think there's strength in numbers. Like there's something really cool about just a lot of people, growing up in North Dakota, like I was talking about earlier, like everybody, looked like some little Norwegian German white kid, right? Like there's no diversity at all.
Still selling ya.
I know, I gotta go.
Yeah, but that's also why they can handle when it's 20 below zero and it's like, all right, school's actually going to start 10 minutes early because we all know what we're doing. Like there's no snowstorm, delays or shutdowns like there was. everything shut down here last week when it was 36 degrees and it's 30 below and everything's normal, because those people are tough as nails. Yeah. But like, also like I didn't really grow up with a bunch of diversity. So I think it's so cool like how diverse my like friend group is here. That's one of my favorite things about being in Austin is so like that's the really cool thing about our parties is we get people, that make all sorts of different money, that look different, that are in all different places of their life, young and old, and they all get to share a room. Like that's pretty powerful to me.
Yeah. I feel like it's kind of sad too because we like start out our lives with like such a sense of community, like going to like elementary school and middle school.
For
like
sure.
We have all these people like the same age around us,
sports and
all these different things. And then it's like as you get a little bit older into your like mid 20s, early 30s, it's like I feel like you start losing.
Sounds like out of college.
Yeah, like out of college, you start losing that community more and more. So this is something that like gives you that sense of community again, which is something we all need,
Mm-hmm.
And then you guys are doing a lot of events at Native Hostel, which I love Native Hostel. It's an amazing venue. But you're also doing like if the Secret Disco Society wasn't enough, you guys also do stuff with Sphere. So I want to jump into that a little bit.
Yes.
And you guys have careers, which I want to touch on. These are just your passion projects.
Yeah.
Don't sleep.
Side hustle kings. Sphere. So Sphere is awesome. Sphere's it started here as like a soccer-inspired fitness community. So it's very community-based. The guy who started it, Mike Jabal, he used to play professional soccer. And so after he retired, he went through this period where he was like trying to stay in shape, trying to keep some touches on the ball. But he realized how miserable it was without that locker room. He'd been used to having 15 guys in a locker room his whole life, right? Those are your best friends. You do everything together, whether it's on the field, off the field. And after anybody's done with sports, right, that's instantly gone because everybody goes their separate ways. And so he created Sphere to recreate a locker room. Well, that's when I really like turned the switch in Austin was when I joined Sphere. So I moved here in August, the year I moved here. I found Sphere in January. So like I had that 4 months where I was going through it like deep, hard, like really figuring myself out. And then I like got to the point where I was feeling really good at myself and like wanted to get out a little bit more. And as soon as I jumped on the Sphere squad, like I felt like I was part of a team, like instantly, like I was back to myself. And so that's why I've been so passionate about, taking it over because I'd been there for about a year. It was right before COVID. All the people that used to run it just all quit at the exact same time. And I was like, well, this is how I met all my friends, and it was for me easy to make friends. And that was the easy place for me to make friends. But for a lot of people, like they don't have a real easy spot to make friends. And I was like, I'm not letting this die. Like this can make a huge difference in everybody's life. So I just grabbed all the gear and didn't stop, and I've been doing it ever since. I volunteered for years on it just because I just cared so much about the community. But that's the coolest thing is like, it's another thing that's very community driven. Apparently I've got a theme on what I like, but it's like, I'm actually naturally kind of introverted. I'm like the last person to go up to some random person at a bar or say a word in the elevator or introduce myself on the plane. But once I get to know somebody or once I get introduced, I'll talk to them for hours.
I don't believe that for like a second.
He's introverted.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's like,
I know.
Really?
A lot of people don't see it.
I don't see it.
I need that, like that start. And once it starts, like I'll go for days. Right. I find people so interesting, how diverse everybody is, how many different stories everybody has. But for me, once I was playing a game of soccer, that was my introduction, right? It wasn't a physical, like, hi, my name's Tanner. It was just a simple pass. And that was all I needed to feel like I was, friends with them. And so that's why, like, I've been so passionate about Sphere, adding other cities, adding other sports to it. Because it's like, once you get, like, one or two things in common, it's really easy for people to talk and people to become friends. And I'd say, like, most of the people here that are in the club are introverted, where they need that simple game to make them feel natural versus, just out if you go out to a random bar, you have no clue what anybody likes or what their story is or what their background is. But it's like, if you've got fitness and you've got soccer, those two things are already in common. Then it's just what's your name, where you're from, and you can really get to know them because you already know that you guys are connected in one way.
Right. How intense is the soccer, though? Because, like, see, Sphere is something I would love to do because I want that connection. I want to go be a part of a team. Like, I like being athletic, but I'm like, I don't want to go out there and, be some, like, elite soccer team.
we got to get you out there.
Not at all.
Yeah, everything's designed to play at your own speed. We've got people who've never played before, and we've got people that played professionally. We've got people that are 18 years old and Kent 68, and we're all in the same field, which is really cool. We actually purposely break the teams down to like 5 to 7 people so that it is more intimate and everybody's involved no matter what. So we're very intentional about it. We make it super easy. We've got a really cool combination of all skill levels, which is why it's fun. It's also why we're adding like the run club. We start every workout or every session with a workout. So there's a little hit workout first. So it kind of gets your body moving and it takes the pressure off it just being soccer, right? It's this cool, like fun fitness concept.
It's like fitness. Yeah, fitness meets soccer.
Yeah.
So we've had so many people that have come out, never played soccer, and now they love the game. Like my favorite thing is when someone buys their first pair of boots. Like they're like, hey, here's my soccer shoes. Like I'm ready to go now. Like I bought these off Nike. Like I'm ready to play. Like it's official. You know, she just got her first pair last year. Well, I kind of bought them for you, but
No, you didn't. I bought them.
we got her
You
on
gotta
the,
buy her a new pair.
I bought them.
we got her on the ball last year. Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Some all black Nike.
I bought my own.
She's even got her signature goal celebration and everything now. So
Oh, really?
I
I think Brooklyn is like downplaying how good she is.
true. It's true.
so
She hates to admit it, but every time she scores,
It is. And he'll call me out. I'm like almost crying because it's true. I can't help it. Like when I
awesome.
score, I just have to. I don't know why. And it's like the total. It's like both fingers out. I don't know why.
but no, it's super fun. Like I said, it's fitness and it's soccer. We're building the new facility here, across the street at Native. So we'll have that like fully programmed fitness classes. We added yoga. We're adding a run club. Our buddy Justin's taking that over. Sierra's doing the yoga class. I think it's going to turn very fast. Like probably over this summer is the biggest, sports social group, network in Austin. And I think it's going to absolutely take off. And I think this will be the blueprint for where it goes nationwide.
Yeah, Brooklyn's gonna teach classes, right?
Yeah, she's going to teach all the fitness classes.
Yeah, if I can go and I'm gonna look like Brooklyn, I'll be there every single day.
Same. I'm trying to get abs like that.
Stop it.
Yeah,
so
no, it's
funny.
really fun. It's a really easy way to meet a lot of people very fast. And that's the other cool thing about it is like the group is so diverse where I may not have that connection with you, but I've got this group of 100 people in this club and it's like, oh wait, you're from Colombia? So are these 7 players.
Wow.
Oh,
That's one of the coolest parts, I think, is that there's like so many countries involved in this. Like, it is insane when they go around and it's all the different accents too. Because you start with a huddle and you go around and introduce yourself. They all have such different accents and different names because they're from different countries. So it's like these names you can barely pronounce, but it is, I don't know. I think that's one of my favorite parts about going to Sphere.
it's so
honestly.
cool. Yeah, because I've
It
never
is
met anybody
insane.
from South America, from
Wow.
Central America, from Mexico. Like we have
Like
so
people
many.
that Argentina, like all sorts of places. And
So
it's like,
cool.
like people that you never would just go up to and just talk to, because there's that fear of diversity and, all of that kind of is natural. And on the field, it doesn't matter, and then you go to no shower happy hours together and you get to know each other.
Yeah, and like the blood is like the ball is a soccer ball, right? So even though we'll expand to these other sports, like it's always a soccer concept. And like you never played soccer before, right?
No.
If I threw a ball on the ground, you know what to do, right? You know you got to kick
Hope.
it.
I mean, I'm a little blonde, but like maybe I'll figure it out.
You know you kick it,
Yeah.
right? So it's a universal language.
Do I?
So it's kind of cool that it like one ball has connected the world in the coolest way possible. Like it's so it doesn't matter what language you speak, like everybody knows how to use it. And so yeah, I think that's the coolest thing. And it's like I said, super powerful way to bring a bunch of people together.
Yeah, you guys are huge connectors. Like
I love it.
Huge.
Yeah.
Like
Power in numbers, and also like I think if you get the right core leading it, you can kind of curate the culture. Like I honestly think like people's perception of Austin in the next couple years is going to be based on what a group. There's a really good core group in Austin that's doing some really good things, and they keep bringing in really good people without egos, with like minds that are the same. And instead of trying to compete or instead of trying to, get on stage and look at me, it's how can we work together and change everybody's lives? And it's like last night we were at Highbrow Lowbrow. We were with Matt from the Riser Nation podcast. We were with James and Chip who run Highbrow Lowbrow. All the people we were talking to, it's like, wow, like there's not an ego in here. Like these are the people that I would go to war for. I would do anything for. If they call me, anybody called me right now, anybody in that whole circle would call someone else and be like, hey, my tire, I got a flat tire. I'm on the side of the road. It's raining. every single one of those people would rush over there to
And
like
there was hundreds.
do what they can to help.
Wow.
And so I think there's a group that's already locked, and I think the culture in Austin in the next 2 to 5 years is gonna stem out of that. Like I really do. You know, it's pretty cool to be a part of, and it's like I think we all have super high standards, and I think that's why Austin's got a really good chance of not changing and losing that soul it has.
And that's the thing. I think that it's that whole group really cares about what Austin is going to become. It's like we really want this city to be somewhere that we all want to continue to call home. And so it's like working towards that goal and just continuously like Austin in 10 years is what people here are building it to be, you know? So it's like what we're doing right now is going to affect Austin in 10 years. So it's kind of like having that mindset of, okay, well, do I want to live here in 10 years? Like what kind of people do I want to be surrounded by, you know? So you got to build it.
That's like so beautiful. I feel like you guys just gave me like a sense of relief because I've lived here for so long and I'm like, please, Austin, like I don't want it to become like LA, like a bunch of egos and stuff. But you're right. Like there's the right people in the community doing the right things where if we have that, it shouldn't end up that way, you know?
That's the goal.
Exactly. I think I think if we embrace change, like let's go all in on it. You know, everybody is so sad that Rainey is disappearing, right? Well, no offense, but the first bar on Rainey was in 2008. Like the only reason we noticed because that's our little timeline, right? Like we had to kick a bunch of people out of their houses before. Like why aren't we mad at that, right? Like but it was like the bars made it really cool, and now all these skyscrapers are gonna come in, and there's gonna be new bars, and it's gonna be really cool. Like we got to embrace that. I think as long as
inevitable,
as long as Austin's culture doesn't change. So like let's go all in. Let's let Austin change, but let's keep it super inclusive, right? Like it doesn't necessarily have to be a bunch of weird hippies like it used to be, but it's always been this welcoming place where it's this, you know, giant melting pot of all these different people moving from all across the country. I think like the nice thing about Austin is it's so far away from anything else. Like the only cities we're close to are Houston and Dallas, and the people that move there come here because they don't want to be there and they want to be included in our culture. Otherwise they would stay. Other than that, like how many people do we know from our home states? Like not that many.
Yep.
So it's, when I was in Denver, there'd be the group from Ohio that was there, and the group from Minnesota, the group from Wisconsin, the group from Wyoming, because they're still close enough where it's like they're all high school buddies and they could all go home and stuff like that. Here you don't have a choice. So whoever you run into at whatever activity you're at, like that's your group of friends, and you got to make it work. And I think Austin is so inclusive and welcoming. That's the culture that it has, and that's, I think, what can't change if we want to keep Austin and grow with it.
So I mean, we still want to keep Austin like a little weird, you know? Like
we want to keep it really weird. Yeah.
Keep it original.
Yeah.
Again, I just shouted out James and Chip from Highbrow.
They're some of the weirdest people I know.
As long as those guys are in control, as long as some dude with pink hair is got a little bit of say in it, it's gonna stay weird, but it's gonna be fun as hell. And it's going to be open to anybody who wants to be, you know, part of something special.
Yeah. Are you seeing like a lot of tie over between like Sphere and Secret Disco? Like people going playing soccer and then coming to like the events you're hosting?
Yeah, I think it's kind of intentional. Like I kind of wanted all my worlds to collide because, shoot, I work 80, 90, 100 hours a week. You know, I don't care. I'm probably always working. I don't really turn it off. And when I turn it off, I fall asleep. Ask her. Like I go till I drop. And I think Antonio from Native like said it best. He's like, I'll work 80 hours a week as long as I get to pick which 80 hours there are and what I'm working on. So for me, it's like I'm only doing stuff that I'm going to be involved in. I'm not working 40 hours for somebody when they tell me to, right? Which is kind of nice. Like I'm on my schedule. I'm doing what I'm super passionate about. So I'd say like Sphere, that's why I'm so drawn to Sphere, is because it's not just like this soccer complex. It's not just this like fitness group. It's very social, you know, and it's all about music and energy, and that's what I feed off of.
Which is so hard to find at your age.
Secret Disco is energy and connection and people. So it's like, to me, they're the same thing. They just use different things to connect people.
Right. Yeah. That's amazing. Like, you guys are doing so much. And I told you the other day, too, I was like, I feel like you guys would just be on, like, coffee all the time because I don't know how you guys get any sleep. You guys travel. You have 2 pets. You're doing Secret Disco. You have Sphere Club. And you guys both work, like, legit jobs, too.
Yeah.
And we have like, fitness influencer over here. Like, I don't even know how you guys are doing it all.
And she cooks.
She does. Are you sure?
I do cook.
Are you sure I can't have her, Tanner?
Hey, I'm not selfish. You can have it.
That's so funny. Yeah, but like, cause you guys both have like separate jobs too. I thought, cause you know, when I first met you guys, I thought you guys were just running like secret disco, and you know, cause
that's what most people
there's
think.
a lot going on with that. Like, I can't even imagine the amount of work that goes into that. But you're like an apartment locator, right? So you're always helping people like find apartments. And then you're an engineer, which I literally thought you were like a software engineer. And then I was like, oh shit, no, Tanner's like a real engineer.
Yeah.
Because software engineers are not real engineers.
All I work with is like software engineers, and they play like Mario Kart at the lunchtime. You know?
Yeah, the term engineer gets thrown a lot. Like, I went to all engineering school, but it wasn't like, those weren't even options. It was like the actual engineering, chemical, mechanical, civil engineering. So I've got a civil engineer degree. I do heavy construction. So I did tunnels for 3 years. I did skyscrapers for 10 years, and I'm doing like high-end commercial rebuilds. So it's real like construction and engineering, not just, oh, I'm an engineer because I've got a computer. So,
I've got
like,
a computer.
half of it is, you know.
Yeah.
But I think that helps. Like, I think that's made my intentions so much better for Sphere and for Secret Disco, is just because it's never been. I think if I made the flip for Secret Disco, right, and you hear entrepreneurs like, don't give yourself any options, like go all in, right? If I quit my job and was just doing Secret Disco, I think it would come across kind of fake. Like, I'd just be trying to do everything for a buck, you know, and because I need it, I rely on it. Maybe it would turn into a way better business, but I think it'd be a way worse culture. And so I've been super fortunate that I've always had a real job, as I call it, my normal 7 to 5. But I think that's like kept me super grounded and like kept my intentions really clean with everything I've done.
Yeah. What do you guys do when you get like worn out?
We watched The Blacklist on Netflix.
I like that show.
Yeah, I don't really. Yeah, like she gets mad at me. So like she's every night. She's like, get off your phone. And it's not because I'm like just
9
texting
p.m.
random people.
9
It's
p.m.
like,
drop the phone.
I thought of this, and if I don't write it down, like I'm gonna forget, you know. And so it's like my brain is just always on. I think of the weirdest stuff at the weirdest hours. But it's
like literally, we'll just be like laying there and like watching like TV or something, and he'll like grab his phone and do something. I'll be like, "What are you doing?" And I look over and he's buying like 100 dolphins on Amazon.
Dolphins?
And I'll be like,
Yeah,
"Why
that
are
was
you?
genius.
Why are you?"
Dolphins?
we
What? Like blow up dolphins?
That's just one example.
for last year we bussed like 400 people out to Coda for a concert. So we're like
For Secret Disco.
Yeah, me and a couple of my friends, like getting out to Coda is miserable. So we're like, let's get a bus. Called up my buddy, he owns Ninja buses, and I was like, hey Sticks, I think we want a bus for Coda. He's like, how many do you have? I was like, I don't know, probably like 40 to 50. He's like, well, it's 40 people to a bus. Like, do you want 2? And I was like, well, why don't I just post on Secret Disco and see how many we can fill up? And within hours, we filled up like 6 buses.
Yeah.
Wow.
And so I was like, how many buses do you have? And he's like, I got 10. I was like, give us all 10. And so there's 3 or 4 different concerts last year where we bussed 400 people out.
Wow.
It was amazing.
Out to Coda. But I was like, when we went out to one like a few years ago, we all put name tags on. And so when you're walking around the whole concert, everybody like knew who you were. They just randomly say hi to you, and we thought it was fun. I was like, all right, well, it's going to be dark because this was a late one. I was like, how do we know where all the people who rode out with us are? And like, how do we distinguish ourselves? So I bought 100 inflatable dolphins and passed them out. And we were in the very back on the lawn, and you just looked down.
We would just see
and you
dolphins.
just saw dolphins everywhere in
And
the
they
air.
were like colorful dolphins.
They're like
they were
rainbow colored dolphins.
Yeah, they were
I was like,
rainbow.
yeah, that was the
But
best
that's the type
$500
of shit
I
that he
ever
thinks
wasted.
of at like 10 o'clock at night.
Yeah.
It's like his mind literally is never off.
Yeah.
And I'll be like, put the phone down. I'll like look, and yeah, it's like 100 dolphins or chickens or whatever it's gonna be next.
Yeah.
We have a 1-bed study, and our study and a storage unit is literally just full of like props at this point and like costumes.
As it should be.
And 100 dolphins and 100 squeaking chickens and all sorts of stuff.
Wild. And then
It's just a simple way to bring it. Like, it's the
Yeah.
same thing we're talking about, right? Like, it's so easy because, like, all right, we're filling up 10 buses with 40 people each. Like, you don't know who's on those other buses. And if I saw you and I didn't recognize you, I would never say hi to you, right? But
You'd
if
be
all
like,
of a sudden
"Oh,
if you're holding a
dolphin."
dolphin and I'm holding a dolphin, it's like, oh, you're with the secret
Yeah.
disco
Yeah.
bus, like I'm Tanner, and that instantly created that conversation. So like almost everything
pretty
I'm
cool.
thinking is like these icebreakers in a way. Like we have a party tomorrow at Native. It's called Kings and Queens, so it's our Valentine's Day party, and it's suit up, just like
Do
a
you
deck
think
of
people are
cards.
going to actually dress up? Do people-
Absolutely,
yeah.
Okay.
yeah. So
People always dress up.
we're going suit and tie, but to make this social, we gamified it a little bit, and so everybody as they walk in is going to draw a card out of a deck, and we partner with Crown Royal and Tito's, and so they actually went to Native and prepaid enough drinks so that everybody at that party can walk around, hey, what card do you have? And start talking, and they need to find their match.
Ah.
And if you find someone with a matching card, you go up to the bar and you get a free drink. Actually,
so cool.
one of you gets a free drink. So you got to argue over who gets the free one, who's picking up the tab, just to make it kind of fun. But it's like that's an icebreaker, right? You're going to go up to someone you've never talked to, like, oh, what card do you have? You know, it's the fun thing about dressing up. Like sometimes you're like, oh, you have the same suit I have. Like I got it from here. Did you? And all of a sudden you're talking to somebody that you would have never talked to before.
Yeah. I mean, I never would have talked to you guys if I wouldn't have gone to your event. Like, I never would have met either of you. And I didn't even really talk to you guys. Like,
Yeah.
I'm very shy. Like, I'm not once you pull it out of me, but I'm not
Yeah.
like the person at a bar to just like go and start talking to random people I don't know, you know? So I see how beneficial your events are.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
it definitely brings people out of their comfort zone too. And everybody's so nice at our events too that it just becomes, again, like a big family. And then it's like, before you know it, you're like dancing with a bunch of random people. And it's just like, okay, these are like my friends for life now, you know?
Yeah.
It's fun too because like so many of our friends, like they're excited because they know like we're the ones throwing it, and they'll like bring their friends and they're like, hey, this is this person, hey, this is Tanner and Brooklyn, like they threw this party, but they would have never known because we're not on the stage. Like we're not trying to get the biggest act and be on stage. Look at me.
And that's like another thing about
spraying
our
champagne
event.
There's
bottles,
no
right?
ego.
Yeah, like
we
we're
kinda
never like
chill in the
behind
back,
the DJ.
like-
Yeah, we like want to be like in the crowd.
Yeah.
Yeah, we just like talking to people. Like we'll get lost from each other all the time because it's just like, hey, come meet my friend, come meet my friend. And all of a sudden we're two different ways. Like it's pretty cool.
And
like,
I'm very much like, he's more of like the reserved, like more introverted, but like go talk to people that he really knows or like be introduced. He's constantly being introduced to different people. I'm more of the person that runs around and is just like meeting people because
you bring me the random.
I'm an extrovert,
Right.
very big extrovert. So yeah, I'll just be like, Tanner, meet this person. This is my friend now. And like, Tanner, meet this person. This is my friend now, you know? And so like,
Then we're hanging with them like 2 days later. Like
Yeah,
it happens
like-
every time.
I'm very much like, yes. But
Like that cat that like runs out to the alley and like brings the mouse back. Like,
no, really.
like, hey,
Look what I
guess what I found. Like
Funny.
this is part of our house now.
Yeah, pretty much. But we like balance each other out well that way. But I feel like it really makes people feel like more included. You know, it's just like, okay, the people who are throwing this event are actually wanting to talk to me and wanting to get to know me and are now inviting me. He does a really good job of like personally messaging people on Instagram, like after events and stuff, and being like, thank you so much for coming. And it was so good to meet you, or following them on Instagram. So like, you're actually seen. Like, you weren't just a body at our event. We weren't just taking your money. Like, we actually want you here. You know, you're invited back and we want to be friends with you. We want to get to know you. And so I feel like that's kind of what makes people want to come back too. It's like, it's not fake, you know,
Right.
we're doing it because we want to do it. We want to have fun with you.
That's where we balance each other out so well is because like one of my favorite parts is like we just met like 10 new people, and it's all because she identifies people who are either super engaged or super unengaged, you know. People in the middle, like you kind of just let be and because they're kind of flowing. She finds the people that are super bought in or the people that just look like they're kind of left out, and she just like grabs them and brings them in. It's really cool. Like we've made some awesome friends. Like Jamal just messaged me like 10 minutes before this. He's like, hey, I'm coming tomorrow, you know.
Oh,
And it's
really?
just like,
I love that.
and
Jamal
he was,
messaged Jamal.
yeah, he was at our 4th of July
I owe him
party,
a drink. He
and
messaged
Brooke-
me. He's like, I was going through our text messages and I remembered that you said that you owe me a drink for my birthday. So drinks on you tomorrow.
Oh, yeah,
I was like, okay.
you're gone. So that's like, it's so cool. Like that's my favorite thing about what we do. It's like we try to clear out like the people we were following on Instagram the other day. We're like, which random accounts are we following? And it's like, I know 1,000 people. Like, what the heck? Like, I went through it all. I was like, no, like, know them. Like, we like keep in touch with so many of these people. Like, it's so cool. Like,
Yeah. It doesn't surprise me. And if I already like wasn't so pumped about everything that you guys are doing, I'm like even more pumped after like sitting down and like talk, just like genuinely seeing like where Secret Disco came from and like how it started and how you're like genuinely going around like making sure people are like, you know, feeling seen and stuff like that. It's amazing. So I'm so excited that you guys came on the podcast. I'm so excited that you guys are going to keep doing events. I want to go to more of them. But I want you guys to pimp yourselves out. So give us your handles. I know Tanner wants to pimp the pets out is like his main goal.
Yeah. We got the coolest pet lineup ever.
We do have cool pets, honestly.
Yeah, we have a Doberman and we have a hairless cat, and they're like the coolest combo. They're like best friends. Like the cat's just a kitten. Like we both like kind of wanted the same pets. I almost got a hairless cat like 3 years ago, and then I was moving in with the roommate, and Kevin was like, I refuse to have a cat.
But now he loves her.
And so I'm like, all right, whatever. Like I just won't get a cat, right? Like it wasn't the end of the
Yeah.
world. And so now I finally got the cat. So,
They're so cute. So
He's
cute.
but yeah, I mean, thanks for having us too, by the way.
Yeah. So
it's cool,
fun.
like, most of our conversations are so quick with people, like even at events and stuff like that, where it's like, hi, nice to know you. Like, hey, let's go out to a show, right? Or a music show, or go play soccer with it. It's like hard to like sit down and actually, tell people our stories. Like a lot of people don't even know, like we were both married before and stuff like that. So like, this is
Yeah.
really cool.
I
Good
like
experience.
Yeah, I like podcasts like as a platform because I feel like you get to like sit down and have those like deeper conversations, you know? Because like I'm that type of girl. If I go to a party, I'd rather just like sit on a couch with one person and like fall down a black hole.
I love that.
I couldn't do that. I can't sit
No,
down.
you could not do that.
Like I'm like popcorn, just pop, going one to the other. But no, thanks for having us.
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah.
Where can people follow you?
My Instagram's Freeze Tag. So my last name's Friesen. So it's a little play off that. I'm Freeze Tag. My brother's Freeze Frame. So we had some fun with it. FRIESE_tag. And then Sphere Club's at sphere.club. Secret Disco's secretdisco.society.
Brooklyn.
And you can, my main account is Brooklyn B Fit. That's Brooklyn, B is in a B, and then FIT. Brooklyn B Fit.
Awesome. Thank you guys so much. Like this was so fun. Like I haven't got to do a podcast with like two people, which is it's
Wait, are we a
different.
first?
You're the first. You guys like popped my three people cherry podcast. But
love it.
I wouldn't. There's not another couple that I'd rather have on to do this.
Thank
so,
you.
Yeah, thank you
It's
guys.
been a lot of fun.
And
I
like,
appreciate
awesome.
it.
Yeah, this is like one of my passions. So it's so nice to have you guys like help support that too. So
Yes.
We'll help anywhere I
Yeah.
can. We love what you're doing and happy to help. You know
Yeah.
us. So
Yeah, this is
Awesome.
great.
well, thank you guys.